Raider Nation, good morning. It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and the Raiders don't play today. If that makes you happy, hit that like button. Coming up here on today's show, I was going to tell you some Raiders rumors that have been circulating around the internet. We're going to talk about Jakobi Meyers, because apparently the Pittsburgh Steelers, they also offered exactly what Jacksonville did. I'm going to tell you why I think Jakobi ended up going to Jacksonville. I want to give a special shout out to a certain college football player that really impressed me over the weekend, Gino Smith. I want to talk about him a little bit. I've seen a lot of hosts, a lot of people give their 2 cents on why he hasn't been benched yet by Pete Carroll, and I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. And then at the very end of today's show, the Jackson Powers Johnson family sent me a gift, and I want to be able to show you guys what that gift is, and I want to show you what the message is that they sent me and the message that they want to send to Raider Nation. But I know the Raiders don't play today, and I hope that you guys always hit that subscribe button. I'll be real, I don't have a lot of Raiders updates because it's been pretty quiet since the firing of Tom McMahon, and if you showed up to the Tom McMahon show, shout out to you for being a real one. If you want to hang out with me later on today, I'm literally getting ready to go live. I'll be live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on our main YouTube channel at Chat Sports, and I'll be doing our NFL Whip Around where I talk about all the games going on at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So first thing I want to talk about, though, again, is there are a lot of news out there that the Pittsburgh Steelers also offered the Raiders a 4th and a 6th round pick for Jakobi Meyers, and Jakobi ended up picking Jacksonville. I always say for the Raiders, it's really based on relationships, but my gut feeling tells me that the biggest reason why Jakobi ended up picking the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, there's one reason. And I think it's Edgar Bennett. And Edgar Bennett was the old wide receiver coach for the Raiders. He's now in Jacksonville, obviously with that connection with Liam Cohn, John Spytek. There's a lot of good connections there from their days at Tampa Bay. But I also wonder if Jakobi looks at that situation and is like, I can potentially be the number one, because Travis Hunter is out right now. Brian Thomas Jr. isn't playing this week, so literally his first opportunity, he's going to get a chance to literally be that team's number one wide receiver, where in Pittsburgh, it just simply wasn't going to happen. And I do think in terms of offensive philosophies, I think Jacksonville is going to be a much better fit for Jakobi overall. I don't know about y'all, I thought it was interesting, and the reason why that I think it's also interesting is because if you're going to have two teams that are offering you the same thing, the other part that should go into the equation if you're the Raiders is, which team do you think is going to be better? Which team is going to think worse? I get both are a 4th and a 6th, but if one team's worse than the other, that one pick's going to be better. So I think ultimately the Raiders gave Jakobi the decision. I respect the fact that the Raiders did that to him, because I did think the way that Jakobi handled the entire situation is the way that a true professional should handle it. Let's go to the next thing here. The player that caught my eye. Y'all know I'm a big Penn State fan, and I was actually supposed to go to that game with a bunch of my college roomies, but Fernando Mendoza, comeback win, and, there were some times in that game where it wasn't pretty. He threw that interception, kind of like basically what he did against Oregon. Threw the pick, and then he responds back with a strong touchdown drive to end up winning that game. And Mendoza shows me the mental toughness, right? To be able to go in Happy Valley, to be able to get a win. I understand Penn State's 3-6 now, but that's still a really talented defense. That's still a really tough environment to be able to go play in. And on top of that, Mendoza didn't have his top wide receiver, Surratt. So, to me, I look at a lot of times a player's makeup of how do they respond in really tough situations when it might be a little bit different. And not having your number one guy in Happy Valley in a game that, again, you could walk into there and you could sleepwalk. But, Penn State played them tough. But I just want to give a special shout out to Fernando Mendoza, because that kid to me is, I think he should be the front runner for the Heisman. I think he should be the number one pick in the 2026 NFL draft, and I would love for him to be a future Raider someday. And, we're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks. We have to, because we still don't have one. We're going to talk about Gino Smith here in a second. But I just want all y'all to know, Drake May was my favorite quarterback in 2024. My favorite quarterback in 2026 is going to be Mendoza. And I'm excited to see what he looks like moving forward. All right, another topic that I want to talk about, because I've been seeing it all over the internet, is a lot of people weighing in on, Geno Smith, his relationship with Pete Carroll, and ultimately, why the team decided to not put Geno on the bench when you could clearly see that he wasn't healthy, and he's dealing right now with a quad contusion, quad injury in that Thursday night game. And, there was times where if Geno was playing well, you could be like, all right, well, Geno's playing well, we're not going to bench him. The problem is he's not playing well, and he's been banged up. The argument could have been, would the Raiders have been better off putting Kenny Pickett in that game because Kenny Pickett can at least move a little bit. Now, I've seen what guys like Rich Eisen had to say. I've seen, what JT the Brick had to say, and I'm not going to say what they're saying is incorrect. I'm just going to say it like this. I think Pete Carroll has shown this entire season, and this coaching staff has shown this entire season, that they care more about being right than doing what's right. And, I think another little example of that is, I don't know if you guys saw the quote from Pete around, the rookies this past game. And, obviously Ashton Genty dropped the ball. It ended up being an interception for Gino. And I don't remember the exact quote that Pete Carroll said, but Pete Carroll essentially, put out a warning to all of the rookies. And it was essentially this stuff's not going to fly anymore. And I didn't really like that message, and I'm actually going to reach out, and I'm going to talk to some people later on today, and I'm going to reach out to some people tomorrow. But here was the quote from Pete Carroll. This isn't going to be forever. That wouldn't have happened to veteran players in regards to the costly rookie penalties, like the Jack Besh one, the Dante Thornton one, the Ashton Genty one. But Pete Carroll said this isn't going to be forever. That wouldn't have happened to veteran players. We'll overcome that. If they don't, they won't get better and they won't be here. That's what Pete Carroll said on Thursday about some of those costly errors with the rookies. I'm just going to say this right now. Pete's got to be careful, because he's already on thin ice with some guys in that locker room, and there's already plenty of players that don't like some of the coaches, especially Chip Kelly in that locker room. So for him to send that message out there, I'm just going to say this. Pete's got to be careful. And I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to, reach out to some people. But what's crazy about that statement is veteran guys do it every single week, Pete. And I think that quote is just another example of certain guys have to compete for their jobs, but other guys don't have to compete for their jobs. And I think that the NFL media, the NFL world is starting to catch wind of the way that the Raiders are being operated, this season. And I think that quote is an example. And I think with everybody seeing the poor struggles of Geno Smith, Pete's going to ride with his guys to his own fault. And it's either going to be his downfall or it's going to help the Raiders win games. I hope it's going to win the Raiders games. But all we've seen so far is Pete Carroll be an absolute disaster of a leader and an absolute disaster as a head coach. Now, I'm going to show you guys what JPJ's family sent me. And, again, to the JPJ family, I'm always going to rock with your son. I think he should be the center of this team. I think he embodies what being a Raider is, and I want a player that wants to be a Raider. And I know that JPJ wants to be a Raider. So everything that you guys sent me, again, I don't know if you ever watched this video, but I know you watch a bunch of the stuff that we do here. And I hope that Raider Nation's got JPJ's back, because I promise you this, I got JPJ's back. Now, today's show is sponsored by Panda Sups, and I don't know about y'all, I went to a wedding yesterday, and it was an amazing time. I was with Alex's friends, my friends too now, obviously. But I woke up this morning, and I was dragging ass a little bit. Luckily, Panda Sups, I woke up, I had a little bit of the nootropics. The brand new flavors are really, really good. I recommend them out there. And, to me, I sometimes need a little pick-me-up. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I needed a little pick-me-up, today. But that's not going to slow me down on our NFL whip-around show at Chat Sports. But if you're a diehard Raiders fan, and whether you need a pick-me-up, maybe it's some nootropics to get that day going, or maybe you're in the middle of your workday, it's 3 o'clock, and you don't want to drink any more caffeine, you need some nootropics to wake you up. Maybe you need some BCAAs to make sure that you're staying hydrated, to make sure that you're at your best possible self. I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and when you're you wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, let's be honest, after a wedding. You got cotton mouth, you got dry mouth, you're just searching for anything wet, giggity. And I needed a drink. I went upstairs, I got me some of my BCAAs from Panda and fell back to sleep. And I'm not going to lie, I felt a lot better when I woke up. I know we do a lot of crazy, stupid shit on this show, but I think at the end of the day, somebody that works hard, and I do try to take care of my body to the best of the ability with everything else that we do here. And I trust Panda Sups to stay in shape. I use their protein, but on a day like today, I needed their nootropics and I needed their BCA. So if anybody wants to go get started with Panda Sups, I'm also repping this hoodie today. Use code Raiders for 25% off at pandasups.com. That link's going to be in the comments, and it's going to be in the description of today's show. Huge shout out to Panda Sups for always rocking with the nation, for always rolling with the nation, and seriously, making a lot of people happy, healthier. Hell, the Weldinator. If there's anybody that deserves a shout out for being the MVP, being the legend that this guy's been over the past month, Weldinator. He's always posting stuff on his Instagram about how awesome Panda Sups is. So to the owner of Panda, you know who you are. Honestly, if there'd be a kid I would hook up with some stuff, it's the Weldinator. All right, let's go to what JPJ's family sent me, and then I got to get on out of here. I got to go get ready for my other show starting again at 12:30 Eastern time over at Chat Sports. So they sent me this card, and the card says thank you. And to me, I'm a big, growing up, my family, we used to do holiday cards. We used to do cards all the time, and a lot of times it's not about what the gift is. It's just, I want people to know that they're thinking of me. And living down here in Texas, my whole family's up north. You always have to have that constant reminder. I call my mom, I call my dad, just about every single day. I talk to them walking in, and I think sometimes a little card is a helpful thing to get us through some tough times. And I know the Raiders are 2-7, and I've had some tough days. I know you guys have had some tough days, but to the JPJ family, honestly, getting a message like this and the gift you guys sent me, huge shout out. It proves me even more that the JPJ family loves the Raiders, that Jackson Powers Johnson loves the Raiders, and he wants to be a member of this organization for a long time. So the card is this. Mitchell, I just wanted to thank you in all the words of support. And then I love the quote here. It's from Oprah Winfrey. To extend yourself in kindness to anybody is an extension in kindness in the world. We appreciate your kindness, the JPJs, and then the whole family signed it for me, which, again, very, very cool. And, I think in a year where you're 2-7, you got to look for answers. And the other day I did a show and I talked about pillar players. To me, Jackson Powers Johnson is a pillar player. What does that mean? It's a guy I want to build around. And, when you have a good family, I think it just shows, how strong of a human being JPJ is. But having a good family like that, I want that type of mentality in my Raiders locker room. I want that type of thing. I want that brotherhood. I want that family vibe inside of that Raiders locker room. And I know that we don't have that right now. And I'm hoping that it's someday that we do end up getting it. I'm not saying that there's not players on that team that are unbelievable friends, right? I bet JPJ's got brothers on that team. But at the same time, when you have a family that does that, that makes me want to make JPJ a leader even more. And I hope that he doesn't give up on this coaching staff, because I promise you this, I'm never going to give up on JPJ, and I don't think that you guys are either. The gift, though, that they sent me, again, awesome. I got a JPJ jersey signed by Jackson Powers Johnson himself. I was thinking about framing it, put it up here in the Raiders Report studio. We're going to hang on to it, though. But JPJ, dude, again, sick jersey, man. Greatly appreciate it. To the whole family out there, greatly appreciate it. And, again, I'll just say it like this. I want a team that's built like the JPJ family, showing out, showing love for each other, because at the end of the day, it's all you can do. All you can do is show love, show out, and I think that that's the definition of a real one. So if you guys made it this far in the video, I hope that you guys spam some JPJs down below for the Jackson Powers Johnson family. And again, I hope that you're having a good Sunday, because I'm not kidding you when I say this. I woke up today and I was excited to watch football. I was excited to be able to enjoy my Sunday, which obviously we don't get a lot of those opportunities being Raider fans. But enjoy your Sunday. Hug your loved ones. Come pull up with me at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time over at Chat Sports. We're going to have a lot of fun, and to all the Raider fans out there, let's keep on grinding. Let's keep doing our thing. I'm going to get you guys another video tomorrow morning before 10 a.m., so be on the lookout for it. And then I will be live again tomorrow. If I had to guess, probably I don't know, 1, 2. I'll figure out what time it's going to be. I'm not going to be live for Monday Night Football, but I am just going to go live on the Raiders Report. We'll chop it up. We'll have some shows for you guys ready to go. So until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And again, the Raiders can't ruin our Sunday. All right, y'all, for even more videos around the silver and black, or more videos of me just chopping it up, click this button right here. I would love for you to check out even more stuff that I'm making. If you want even more content, YouTube's going to recommend these 2 videos for you. I will admit, they're going to be a lot different than what I made today, but if you appreciate Raiders content, if you appreciate free Raiders content, check out one of those videos right there.